Cassandra Live. I'm Kelly Lamb.
Becky Shone.
She is my guest co-host today as Cassandra has taken the day off to do some family things. And right now with us, it's that time when we get personal. We get personal with someone who is doing some amazing things around the community or within the world. And today it's Angela Sage Larsen. She's an author, illustrator of the Petalwink series, but that's not all. She is also the author of 50 Chicks series and so much more. We're going to talk to her and let her tell us all the great things. I remember when you wrote your first book, Angela, and met you, and that was your Petalwink series, Learn to Fly.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to see you just sit in our lap, your Petalwink book series, your 50s Chicks series, and now you've just mentioned that a musical is being created off of Petalwinks. I mean, this is unbelievable. So
it is.
Tell everyone who hasn't met you personally what you began with, and then we'll just kind of go from there of where you are now and find out about this musical and so much more.
Nice. Well, thanks for having me here, first of all. And I know you have an adorable fairy series, too, so you know what it's like to have a baby that's a book.
Yes. But unfortunately, I wrote my... Coco and the thank you.
You're welcome.
Coco and the Chocolate Fairy. And I haven't been able to move from there because I've kind of taken, but I still love it and I have it. Maybe someday something more. But you, on the other hand, have taken this to new heights.
Well, and it's funny that you should mention the new heights because that's literally where we are right now with the Petalwink series is. As I mentioned, it's being developed into a musical, and one of the aspects of the musical is that there is aerial choreography, which of course is fancy for flying.
Yes.
So taking that idea of the very basic idea of Petalwink is about believing in yourself and believing in the greater good. And so having the flying be part of the musical and part of the message is really, really pretty awesome. So I just started with this idea, this little 3-inch tall, purple-haired fairy, and she really kind of symbolizes that voice that each one of us had when we were a child, and hopefully we can still find as adults. That little voice that says, "I'm special. I have something to give, and I believe in doing the impossible. I know that the impossible can be done." And so it's been a really fun journey to take that message. First of all, putting it to words and then illustration in the book series, and now making it even more 3D with the musical. And we just got back last week from Principia College where it's being developed. That's our creative home at the moment. So the producer, the director, the aerial choreographer, my business partner and life partner, Whit, my husband, we were all up there with a cast of, I don't know, how many do we have? 10 or 12 recent graduates and current graduates, and worked out 2 numbers. We're working with Deborah Hurwitz, who's a fabulous composer out of New York and LA. She's worked on Broadway, and it's just been amazing to see the quality.
Your book come to life.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
amazing. And for
amazing.
people who can't see it, first of all, just in case they want to get on there, Petalwink. Is it petalwink.com?
Yeah.
Okay, so petalwink.com, if you want to go on there and take a look, you have to see the inside and the illustrations, which you do. You're an amazing artist.
Oh, thank you.
So think of taking these gorgeous pictures that you have and turn it into a stage production and seeing that live. The colors, in this picture, she's sound asleep in a matchbook. Your little bed's in there, and the 2 little matches are her, I guess, what do you call the
bedpost?
The bedpost. And there's such great graphics in here, so seeing that come to life would just be amazing. And to think that it's going to be at the Muni someday, isn't it?
Hopefully, yeah. That
Absolutely,
would be the ideal.
It will be traveling
ideal
around.
Location. Yeah, that'd be
Will you
awesome.
travel around with the musical? Will someone own this musical afterwards? Does it stay yours when something like this happens?
Well, we own the intellectual property of Petalwink, but what we did was form a production company, and so we're partnering with the producer and the director and the composer. So we really have a creative team that's taking this idea to a new level. And I think what's really exciting about this is that everybody on the creative team immediately gets Petalwink. And what I've been learning is, she's just kind of been mine and Whit's. Even though there's been this book series, There are 7 ebooks and 4 of the books in print. It still has felt just like ours, but now we're realizing that it's really an idea that belongs to everybody because everybody identifies with Petalwink's voice. There's something that she speaks to everybody in their own special way. So it's been really cool to see how she affects other people and inspires other people and what they've been bringing to the project. It's been really exciting.
How cool. Well, she's just adorable, and I cannot wait. And I mean, from a musical, then it can go to a film, to cartoons, to everything. She is going to be larger than life. Oh, and so who will be playing Petalwink?
Well, right now there are a couple of college kids that are working out the role, and it's just in development. So, who knows how it will be ultimately.
I might be available.
Oh, you would look fantastic in a purple wig.
I would.
You could totally pull it
goodness.
off.
And I get to fly.
Absolutely. See, that's why everybody goes,
comfort.
sign me up if I get to
If you
fly.
get to fly. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Well, congratulations with that. Go to petalwink.com to find out more about the books. You can order them as well. Look at the petalwinkthemusical.com. You can find out more about that. So now, Angela, tell us about 50s Chicks, which is CHIX.
Nice.
Tell us how this has come about and where this is taking, because Petalwink is more from 3 to 8 years old, which, of course, your musical adults are going to thoroughly enjoy, as well as adults enjoy reading this to their children. Now you've taken your 50s chicks and kind of gone to a teenage, 9 to 14, so to speak.
Yeah.
So tell us about this.
Well, it's been really, really cool. It's almost like Petalwink grows up a little bit. It's been fun because I've gotten to grow with my readers. So 50s Chicks is about 5 girls in 1955 who time travel to present day, and it takes place in St. Louis. And like Petalwink, it has a character education message. It features fascinating, really rich, fun girl characters. We don't get a lot of that, actually. If you look in the entertainment, if you look at movies or books, so few are actually lead female characters. They're placed there for decorative purposes almost. So one of my passions is with all these characters, whether it's 50s Chicks or Petalwink, is to have fascinating, enriching characters so that we can see that girls are adventurous and courageous and brave, and that they have things to work out and they have things to overcome. And so it's been really fun to get to know all these characters. My husband Whit has to remind me sometimes, you realize they're fictional characters, right? Talk about them like
people, authors who write, they are in it. They feel it, and they'll find a place where, like you said, it's in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And you become part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels very real, that's for sure. And the message definitely is real. So with 50s Chicks, I've been really liking this idea of the character education, and there's so much history in it with time travel and stuff. So we put together a curriculum, which I can't really say it's a curriculum. It's a literature guide, but it pulls out different elements of the books and hopefully will inspire and help kids to learn to write better, so that they can capitalize on their creative writing talents and do so in just a really fun way.
And understand the way it was then
Yes.
to what it is now. I always love the movie Now and Then. Do you remember that
Yes.
movie? And it was so fun. And both my girls say they wish they grew up in the time of like the 50s.
Exactly.
Whenever they watch a movie, they always say, I wish, because it was a time where you rode your bikes and you
Right.
played and you scavenger hunt and you went investigating and you did these things because you didn't have phones and all these high-tech things that kept you from just playing and
Yeah.
being kids. And this takes you back in time that is so much simpler and easy. If you got in a fight with somebody, you got in a fight with just that person, not the entire school.
Right, it
You
wasn't
know?
a virtual fight that went
Exactly.
viral online. Yeah.
So this sounds really awesome. Now, how do you get a hold of these books as well?
So these are at Barnes & Noble, barnesandnoble.com, Amazon, basically, wherever books are sold. There are 5 books in the series, and then there's a lit guide for each of the books. I'm still developing the lit guide, but the one for the first book, Travel to Tomorrow, is available. And there's a free sample for the lit guides, too. So if people go to 50schicks.com, they can get the books there, or they can find out where else they're for sale. But basically, wherever books are sold.
Do you think these will be put in the books for kids into schools?
I
Or-
hope so. I would love it. I just think that would be ideal.
Yeah,
I
with
think
such
that
a
would be
learning
really
factor
fun.
in it, you know, always looking at that. So what are some of the places that that 50s Chicks takes place in St. Louis that we can look forward to?
Well, definitely around Webster Groves and Kirkwood. And
Where
then,
we're at right now.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that as I drove in. I was like, oh, 56 territory. And then and downtown, because in the third book, they actually time travel to the Civil War.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I researched real places downtown St. Louis. The history here is unbelievable. And I'm grateful to have written this series of books because I wouldn't have dug into history like I did. And it's what an incredibly rich, fascinating, and mostly scary history we have here.
And did you just wait? Were you just, you'd have the Petalwinks, the children's. Did you just, like, wake up? Or were you sitting there and all of a sudden your mind was like, I've got something to offer here? Did it just come to you? What made you begin this and see these characters?
Well, it's interesting that you were talking about, it being a simpler time in the 50s, because that was kind of what started the 50s Chicks series. And just going back a little bit, Petalwink came because I'm an artist. Before I was a writer, I was an artist. I mean, I still am, I suppose. But I was drawing Petalwink. And so I was sketching her, and that's how the 50s Chicks came about, as well as I was actually drawing these 5 different, very, very different from each other characters. And then I started to ask that what if question that you just said, like, gosh, if these girls from 1955, what would they think if they just suddenly woke up in modern day? Would it
Oh
be
my gosh.
would it be a simpler time with technology, or was it a simpler time then? But actually, the more I dug into the 50s, I was like, it wasn't necessarily a simpler time. When you look just beneath the surface, I mean, women didn't have the rights that they have now. We're still working on that one. The civil rights movement, was pre 1964. And
You couldn't just go to McDonald's.
absolutely,
You
yeah.
couldn't just bake a box of brownies.
That's right. I know exactly. Nothing was simpler in a lot of ways, socially and with technology. There was a lot of turmoil just barely under the surface, and so it was interesting for me to try to answer that question using these characters. Was it really a simpler time, and maybe help give readers a little bit of empathy and think about how much things have changed, and to answer for themselves if things are better or not, or what they might be
Sounds
grateful
like it's
for.
a book for us as well.
I'm
go,
sitting
I'm
there
thinking
thinking
more
of
than a
how you and I, here we are sitting out on the back patio drinking wine, and then we transport 10 years ahead.
Can you imagine?
Just
That
10
would be-
years. Think what
yeah.
it will
I
be
know.
like.
Yeah.
Just 10 years, it's going to be so
Unbelievable.
different.
Yeah.
Maybe that will happen to us one of these times. Scarier things have happened.
Yeah.
That movie where they were in a hot tub and ended up, somewhere else. So he ended up backwards. Is it still cheating if I really didn't marry my wife yet? Remember that part in the hot tub?
Oh yeah.
Well, what do you have in store next, Angela? What are we going to see from you next?
Oh, great question. I'll definitely be focusing on the musical and getting that up and running. In an ideal world, we would have a touring musical to go around the country in about a year. And then with the 50s Chicks, it's just continuing on with those lit guides and developing those. And I know my agent and publisher have said, hey, what do you think of more 50s Chicks books? So we'll see. I'm open to.
It's amazing sitting here with you right now, because when we first spoke a long time ago, someone had turned me on to you with your first book, which was Learn to Fly.
Yeah.
I remember calling you because I was in the route of writing my children's book, and what do I do? And you spent a long time talking with me. I had talked to your agent to find out more, and he was already, of course, with you, and which is by rights, he
Yeah.
knew he was on track with you and guided me as well. And I think that was something, it was part of my bucket list that I've always dreamed of doing, was writing a
Yes.
children's book, and I was able to do it. And it was
Yeah.
during a time that was very hard for me. So it allowed me to kind of go into a fairy tale world. It was all about believing in yourself, and it kind of got me moving in the direction where I needed to go and where I'm at and where I still want to go. And you had written your first book, and I went to some of the things where you were getting your book out and getting into people's hands, and to see you as a woman taking your dream of drawing this fairy to where you are now should say to so many people out there that you can do what you dream in, that if you feel something and you're doing something, don't stop, go for it.
Yeah.
And in your case, you aren't a single mom or something like that. You're married, and your husband is by your side,
Yeah.
has taken on the business side of it because he believed in your dreams as well.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing. It gives me goosebumps because it's awesome to see how you've grown from when we've met. And it was a harder time for me as well. And I've grown. And it's so true what you say. You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Becky and I were sitting on my couch. I was trying to make a very hard decision on which way to go. Do I take this risk?
Yeah.
And she was also talking about her restaurant, and we were just having coffee. We were there probably for 4 hours talking about our dreams, and we both went after them. And
That's
you
awesome.
have to do that. And sitting here with you, you went after yours, and yours is a rare. I remember you telling me that here you are drawing this fairy, but the man who is the publishing company who went on board with you was someone sitting behind you, I think, in church or something like that, or somebody heard your story of this Petalwink, right?
Oh yeah, well that's how we found our agent. Was
how the world works.
Yeah, Whit's parents met him and said to us, "You should really talk to this guy." And they handed us a little slip of paper with his number on it. And I'm sorry to say that we sort of said, "Yeah, okay, whatever." We kind of put the slip of paper aside, and then he actually ended up contacting us. And when we Googled him, we went, "Oh, what are we waiting for?"
Yeah.
So he has been an incredible champion, and I love what you're talking about, following your dreams, and I like that you use that word risk, because I think it's important to know that to follow your dreams, it is a risk, and it is a lot of work, and it's not a fairy
It's not
tale.
all fun.
No, it's not all fun.
Yeah.
But
if it's
the
your
victories
passion-
along the way, oh yeah.
And if it's
your
passion,
you have to.
It's okay to work because
That's right.
you know you're working for what you
That's
love.
right.
And you never know how it would develop and change. You sought out, you started with your book, Learn to
Yeah.
Fly, Petalwink.
Yeah.
And from there, by letting doors open and by letting things happen and believing in what you're doing, you now have a musical.
Yeah,
You now
it's
have a whole
amazing.
other series of books. And that's all because you believe. And your message now is to tell others, believe.
Yes.
Believe in your dreams. Believe in what can happen to you, what can come next. Don't let that door close.
Yeah.
And even if you feel like maybe that wasn't the right door, another door will open if you just open yourself up
Always.
to that. And
I
don't be
almost
afraid.
broke out into song and dance. Don't stop believing.
Oh gosh, we need that
And
song.
then- yeah.
We need that song.
Wait until you
We need
hear
that song,
the music
Jeremy. We need that song.
for
And then-
Petalwink the musical. You will be breaking out into song.
I can't
Really?
wait.
Oh my gosh, we
Or
have
like,
2 songs.
like
They're
the
so
TV show
fantastic.
Fame.
Yes.
Where it was like all of a
Exactly.
sudden, bam, there they
Yes.
are in the lunchroom eating, and then the next minute they're all like performing.
That's
I know. Don't you feel like
I
when you watch
love-
that? Don't you feel like that's me? I can do it.
I grew up wondering, why did my school not do that?
I know.
Why?
I was.
Why?
I went to a boarding school too.
Yeah,
Why
me too.
were we not all busting out into song and dance?
But in
and
my
jumping
head,
on
I
our lunch
was.
table?
Exactly.
Grandmother's house, I was in song and dance and all. She used to just watch me. Her head looked like a ping pong ball going back and forth, watching me bounce around the house all the
It's
time.
like those flash mobs now. It's flash
Exactly.
mobs now. Like, why is life not just one big flash mob?
You know what? You're so cool about that. That's one thing about Becky. She always puts me in perspective and keeps me focused and says, "Why are you worried about it? Just keep doing what you're doing and keep going after it and quit worrying about all this other stuff.
Exactly.
Stop it."
Create a flash mob.
That is your normal. Your life is a flash mob.
Angela Larsen, Angela Sage Larsen. Even Sage is perfect. We need to throw some around the room right now.
Nice.
If you're here. Author, illustrator of the Petalwink series, author of 50s Chicks series. You can go to petalwink.com. You can also go to 50s Chicks, CHIX.com. Find out more about these series. Find out when the musical is going to come your way. Get a hold of these books. You won't be sorry. They're amazing. And you don't realize you're learning and believing all at the same time.
Right. Oh, perfect. Well put.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to have you here and can't wait for people to get a hold of your books and
Thank
see
you
the
so
musical.
much.
And I want to be front row when it comes here.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get you a ticket.
Awesome.
And
Thank
Becky,
you.
you can come too, and we'll let you break out
Well,
in
I
song.
will be the fairy.
Yeah.
Right across the stage.
There you go. We'll witness it firsthand. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Petalwink. You got to check it out for yourself. We'll be back coming up next. Sharing with Cassandra. She may not be here, but in spirit, she will be, because she'll still be here with Sharing with Cassandra. And then we'll be back with more right here on Kelly and Cassandra Live with my co-host Becky Schoening. And we're here on 1380 The Woman, 1380thewoman.com.